Welcome, loves. Today we are setting up the Valentine's Revenge group service, and I am happy to report that over 100 people joined. So, in private, I did take the time to read through every single name and stick a nail through it. I did take a couple of breaks to make sure that my energy was strong. And so, what the nails represent is holding our enemies down in place so that they can't move. And so I want you to join me in the process of setting this jar up. I call upon the forces of karmic justice to witness this work. May all of those who have caused pain, deceit, or harm face the return of their own actions. Justice stands where injustice once walked. First things first, let's break through any resistance, spiritual protection with this oil. What this is going to do is just kind of soothe and calm the targets so that they can be receptive to the work that we're directing. And yes, I am going to go ahead and just pour the whole bottle in there. I added a little bit of cayenne on top just because I want to make sure that everything is covered as far as the names. So the first thing we're going to do is add some poppy seeds. This is going to blind our enemies so they can't see the work, cause confusion, and also fights for them. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add molasses. And I'm going to show you why we're using it. You know how molasses pours very slow? We're going to slow down our enemies. I direct this molasses to slow down our enemies, slow down their plans against us, and slow down their success. We're going to hold them in place so that they can't move. We're going to add some doom oil. This is called Do Unto My Enemies. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour the whole bottle in there. I direct this doom oil for everything our enemies have done or plotted against us. May they be faced with the consequences of their own actions and karma served. Graveyard dirt to spiritually bury our enemies, to close off their roads and protect us from them. While hyssop is really good for right hand work, such as cleansing and protection, it also works very well for the left hand path. And so in this work, we are activating it and we are directing it to create chaos in the lives of our enemies and also to serve karma. Rose thorns. I activate them to create emotional pain and discomfort to our enemies. For all the pain they have caused us, may they feel it times 100. I'm going to add some pepper because I want to make this jar very spicy. And just how I wrote in the listing, you know when you eat very spicy food and your behind is on fire the next day when you use the bathroom? Yeah, that's the feeling that I am adding to this jar. I want to make their behinds itch, to hurt, and keep them so distracted that they can't even think about us. I'm adding some lemon, lime. I'm Hispanic, either one works for us. But I'm directing this to create bitterness and sour their lives. More pepper flakes. Make it very spicy, make them uncomfortable, and send them the F away from us. In Spanish, we say me tiró sal, and it translates to they threw salt at me, meaning that that person sent you bad vibes, bad thoughts, evil eye, so that your plans weren't successful and that nothing worked out for you. And so here I'm utilizing salt to kind of just throw bad energy at them so that nothing works out for them. The star of the show is poop. And I have various kinds here. I have bobcat, dog, and chicken. This is going to represent us shitting on our enemies so that nothing works out for them. You know that smell of poop? That's what's going to be contained within this jar. I'm filling the jar up with vinegar to create bitterness in their lives, sour everything, sour relationships, and that nothing works out for them. All they know is bitterness and sadness. I charge this jar with justice to spiritually blind their enemies, to direct karma to them, to slow things down for them so that they cannot get ahead, to cause fights, discomfort, confusion, and for them to be miserable, for them to be so distracted by everything going wrong for them that they cannot see us. I am sick and tired of people thinking that they can just do whatever they want with no consequences. Be a good person, respect boundaries, and treat others how you want to be treated. And you won't be put in a jar like this. I create this curse from all their own behavior, their own actions, their own hate, and I return it back to them. By the way, this jar stinks. I'm activating the jar and giving it power with the skull that I created, loaded with graveyard dirt and hot elements to shut our enemies up and blind them to us. Spirits decided to show us this leg in the wax that formed, and it's in the past tense. This represents us kicking our enemies and getting rid of them, and a very good sign for this work. This is what the jar looks like so far. And you can see the molasses on the bottom holding down our enemies. And so now I want to wrap it in duct tape. I want there to be darkness for them so that they can't see and nothing moves ahead for them. They are kept in the dark, blind to our blessings, blind to our paths. And in darkness, they sit with what they created. Let them rot in their own sadness, their own envy, and their own bitterness. So this is a porta potty that is kept on the property that the county requires for when we're building. And I'm going to keep the jar here. And I'm going to be working the energy for the next 6 weeks. At the end of the 6 weeks, I will post on Instagram to check the energy and letting you know if we're ready to take it to the dump. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all for joining me for this service.